Estas Lista, is everyone where they're supposed to be? This is a panel of 4 Villanova students who have actually spent time working in internships abroad. I'm just going to introduce them all briefly, but then they're going to explain a little bit more about what they did abroad. First, we have Rachel down at the end. She is a senior accounting and international business co-major. She completed 4 internships over the course of her years at school. She worked abroad in London and Sydney, Australia. Next we have Rebecca, who's also a senior. She's an economics major. And she studied abroad in South Africa over the summer. Next we have Jill, who's a junior marketing major, And Jill studied abroad in Galway and Dublin, Ireland. And last we have Leslie Graham, who's a junior accounting and finance major, who also studied abroad in Galway and Dublin, Ireland. So if you guys could just begin by saying something about yourself, a little bit about what you did abroad, and then we're going to open up to questions. Because they're students and there's not that many of us, we're going to try to keep this very informal, and just feel free anytime you have a question to speak up, and they'll just answer and try to do the best they can. Thank you.
All right, hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I am a senior accounting and international business co-major here. So basically I interned during high school. We had like a senior year internship, and I thought I was really into fashion, so I interned at Catch a Fire Clothing in New York City, which was pretty fun. Then, freshman year at Villanova, I participated in the Global Citizens Program, and I interned at Stella McCartney Press Office in London, doing, PR kind of work there. And when I came back, I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do, so I became an accounting major. And when I studied abroad last year in Sydney, I interned at Bacchus, which was like a small accounting firm, really small, about 10 people. Then I came back, and over this past summer I interned at KPMG doing federal tax in New York City, and that's where I'll be starting full-time next year. So.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I studied abroad in 2007 in South Africa, and then this summer I studied at Merrill Lynch in Johannesburg. For the international aspect, I worked at a nonprofit in Johannesburg in Geraldine, and basically it dealt with women in the media, and I worked with the CEO of the nonprofit to head a workshop they call Business Unusual, and one thing led to the other, and I did the workshop in South Africa, Namibia, and Swaziland, so it was a really good first internship experience, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm a junior marketing major, and I studied abroad in Galway for 6 months, then had an internship in Dublin for 6 weeks, and I worked at Colo Technologies in their marketing department. Because of the financial crisis, that company kind of revamped right before I got there, so I was kind of helping them with like a startup project as well, so that was different.
I'm Leslie. I'm an accounting major. I'm a junior. I did the same program as Jill. Ireland did get hit a little bit harder than America did in the financial crisis, so my company, I worked for HCAM Publishing, which is a very small publishing company, in their accounts department, and they downsized like a few months before I got there, so I was the accounts department when I worked there. There was no staff accountant.
Okay. If anyone has any questions, just feel free to speak up.
Were these all summer internships?
Ours were.
Yes, mine was.
No, I had one summer internship, and then 3 of them were kind of during the school year, all in the springtime.
And did you do them every year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior?
No. I did mine. I did one senior year of high school. I did one freshman year of college. I did one junior year of college, and then I did one after the summer of my junior year of college. So.
And how is everyone paying for these trips?
Well, when we studied abroad, we paid Villanova tuition for the 6 months in Galway, and then we paid a fee to USA, which is the company that placed us in our internships, and then we also had, our housing was paid for by Villanova because of extra.
Basically, for me, it was just a opportunity thing. My mom moved to South Africa, and I went to visit, and I decided an internship would be a good thing to do while I was hanging out there. So I lived with her, and the internship, of course, was unpaid, so it was kind of mama. But this year in Washington, D.C., there's a program called the Washington Center Program for internships, and basically you pay for your credits and you can pay for housing, but the cost is very much subsidized because they've had a long relationship with Villanova. So instead of paying their quota tuition, you just pay for the 9 or 6 credits you get when you go down there. So
So it doesn't delay graduation or anything like that if you do like an internship, or I guess in the summer it wouldn't affect it, but if it's during the year, does it change it at all? Extend it?
For me, one of the programs I went on was a Villanova program. So it was 4 Villanova courses, and then at the end of that we did an internship portion, which goes towards a free elective. And the same thing in Australia, except since it wasn't a Villanova program, the credits that I took counted as transfer credits. So they fulfilled requirements, but they didn't affect my GPA. So I'll still be graduating, you know, on time with the courses that I needed. So.
It was the same with us. We took 1 Villanova class, and then we took 4 other classes that counted as transfer credit that didn't affect our GPA. And then our internship was like tacked on to the end of the semester classes for 6 weeks. So we're not behind at all. Villanova does a really good job of not putting you behind when you study abroad.
How did you decide which country to go to? Because there's a lot to choose from.
Well, ours was the sophomore program. We're juniors, so we went last semester, and I don't take a language, so I'm kind of restricted to the English-speaking countries personally. And we got an information letter over like winter break or some break, and I went to an information session and talked to students who'd been before, and it sounded interesting, and I wanted to go abroad, so I went to Ireland.
I think, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think a lot for, I don't know if there are any art students. For your arts requirement, usually you have to take a semester or 2 of a language, and I actually studied abroad in China, and that in 2008, last year, in the summer. And I guess as you learn and as you take some classes, there's usually a country that kind of sparks your interest. In Villanova, their Office of International Students, their Office of International Studies does a really good job of kind of connecting you with what you're interested in. So even though it's just like the language that sounds good to you, I would say just go there and see what it's all about, because I'm now a Chinese minor, which I never thought I'd be. So things happen.
Can you tell me about maybe a harsh working environment that was different than the United States that you encountered?
I know Callie, we studied together in London, and I interned at the Stella McCartney press office, so it was a totally different experience than probably a lot of fashion, what you're expecting. Definitely not glamorous at all. So I would go into work at, I started my first day. Let's start there. Went in at 10 in the morning, and they're showing me around, and my boss was actually from the United States. And let me preface this by saying that no one I worked with was British. This was in London. No one was British. Everyone was French, American, Brazilian, from Singapore, like all over the place, which was a different experience because I thought I was going to be getting like the British work experience. And what I ended up getting was a very fashion PR related work environment culture experience. So the first day when I went in, they basically showed me the ropes for interns, and it was kind of, you know, go through the back doors and this is what you do, and the office was above the actual retail store, so they were like, just don't go into the retail store, we don't want any of our customers seeing you. And I was like, huh, that's great. And the main boss, Stefan, called me into his office by saying, I need a nothing intern, and had me literally stand by his printer as he printed things, pointed, and had me take them to his desk for a good hour. So that was like my first day of work, and it was kind of shocking and really different. I have not heard anyone else have that kind of an experience, you know, anywhere, but it was just very different from anything that I was expecting. But it ended up being really fun because I kind of complained with all the other interns about our boss. But it was also good because it showed me, you know, more of what I want to do and what I have potential to do, and I definitely grew a much thicker skin after that, so that was really important. But I'm not saying you should be afraid of fashion. I don't think it's like that anywhere else. So, but
I would say working here. I guess for me, I mean, being here for me is kind of like study abroad, cause yeah. But I would say my internship this summer at Merrill Lynch was very fast-paced. I'm an econ major in the art school, so I have no finance, no accounting background, but once you hit the ground, you're already running, and it kind of toughens you up because you have to go on Bloomberg or go on whatever finance dictionary you can get your hands on and find out what a stock is, or find out what the lines are. You know, it's not all just supply and demand and how you can make people's lives better and all that stuff, but you get, if there's anything, as an intern, you're not babied, you know. People know that interns come in to help, and no one kind of slows down for you, so you have to catch up, and that kind of makes you stronger in terms of when you come back to campus, because you're on that ball. So it strengthens you. It's hard, and you get some harsh experiences. Nothing is ever what you expect it to be. Some experiences are way better than what you thought, and some are not. So just be prepared for anything and be prepared to learn. I guess that's what Villanova teaches you best.
I, along with some other people in Ireland, have found the work experience that I personally had was much less structured than anyone I've had in America. As in, the company is supposed to be a mid to small company, which means about 9 people. Well, because of the financial crisis, it ended up being 2 people. However, one of the main persons, his wife was sick, so he was out of the country my entire internship. So it was me and Stefano Rocco, who's Italian, and my name's Jill Moynihan. I'm a little more Irish than he is, but I'm American, working in an office for 6 weeks together, just me and him, doing their startup company. So that was much different. I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting to go into like the internship experience, like getting papers from a printer or like taking all this data and putting it into a chart, etc. But it was, on the other hand, it was great because I was doing real things. Like my work really mattered. They used it, and I got to learn from that and take what was good and learn from what I didn't like about it. So for the future, I'll have that in my own mind, what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah, my company was pretty small. Like I said, I was like really the only like accountant there. And so I was able to take like initiative when I wanted to do things. Like I was able to it's like, okay, this is like a good project. Like the woman who was the office manager probably knew less than what you guys come out of with whatever your financial reporting class that you take now. Probably knew less than like what we learned in that class about managing a business's finances and accounting and everything. So I think you're definitely thrown into environments that are a lot different from what you're going to get as an internship here. You might get more responsibility, like Jill had a lot of responsibility, I had a lot of responsibility, and just chances to take initiative and step out of like your role as like the intern who does like intern jobs.
The other thing too that I noticed is that America is a very internship-based culture, and when I went abroad, Australia especially, it's not really an internship culture at all. That's kind of a foreign idea to them, and like the idea of having free labor of someone who hasn't graduated yet. So Whereas over the summer where I was at KPMG, it was very structured, like national training, in-office training, then you're doing this, then you're here, and then you have like, you know, this networking event and this networking event. When you're abroad, it's just totally different, and it's a bit more relaxed in the structure, which is, it's great both ways. But that's just one of the things that you need to realize, and I went in and told them, you know, listen, I'm capable of more than doing like data input. If you want to take the time to explain it to me, that'd be great. And so, yeah.
You have to be very flexible because we were placed by program, as I said, USA. So we put down what we're interested in, what we're studying, what type of job we like, but they tell us we can't guarantee anything. So like, okay. So we're just like waiting for our email saying, oh, you're working in this company and this will be your position. We get no choice. If there is a big problem, there's obviously contact information, but I was placed in a very small company when a few other kids were placed in large accounting firms where they did have the in-office training because it was just the international branch of a large accounting firm. Mine, I don't think Colo Technologies exists anywhere else but Dublin, Ireland. So it's just really, you have to be flexible and just take the best of what you have.
For your internships in Villanova, and then for the ones that were in America, how did you get?
When I was abroad, I was placed with my program. So basically, I had meetings with advisors, and I talked to them about what I wanted, and they told me, you know, what's been available in the past, and then they kind of made that connection. But from Villanova, when I had my internship in the United States, I went through, you know, the Go Nova process, interviewing on campus, and then going to second round interviews and that kind of thing. So.
I think it's the same for the program I did, the Washington Center. They do the same thing. You get placed, and with that program, you actually do an internship and you take a class. And it doesn't matter if you're a business student or an art student or whatever. They kind of place you according to your major and your interests. So as much as they do have an international program, you can apply to, for example, do the program in DC, which I did, which was fantastic. So you have options.
We were also placed, so that was that. And like, as for getting internships here, the big thing is just start early and go on Go Nova and just like know when deadlines are coming, because like, for instance, anyone who'll be a junior next year or is junior this year, everything for Big Four accounting is done. Like, you're not getting an accounting internship this year if you didn't already apply about 3 weeks ago. So just like be on top of it, look at deadlines. As corny as it sounds, read the Insider's Edge, like there's stuff in there.
It's really nice to go abroad and have a program that places you. It takes so much of the pressure off. Like, you have no idea. I was shaking so much, like sweaty palms when I was interviewing here, but when I was abroad, I was like, whatever. If I don't get this, they have to set me up with someone else. That's what I'm paying them for. So it made it a lot more relaxed, and like, I really liked that part of it. So that was really nice about studying abroad. And then you have that internship experience already for when you come home that you can talk about on your interviews here in the States, which is kind of when you need to be kind of more on the ball. So.
You had a question for like 5 years.
Do any of you guys want to like translate a career, like to have like an international career, like?
Yes. I cannot wait for the day when I can move back to London. Like, I've already talked to people. I start my full-time job next year, and I'm like, so when is the earliest I can go abroad? Because I'm ready now. Like, just send me. But I was so lucky to be able to study abroad twice. Like, really, that's just my favorite thing. You know, I get bored if I stay in one place too long. So.
I think, for me, I'm a nomad already, so I think you learn so much from being outside of your element and from just getting outside of your comfort zone, that traveling teaches you something that you can't possibly learn from, you know, reading in books and stuff. So yeah, of course I think some part of everyone has that adventurous kind of wants to explore stuff. So it just depends on how much you want to execute that. So if you want to go. Yeah, that's
your favorite
motto.
statement.
That's what I said the whole last panel. Just go.
Every answer, just go.
I like the opportunity to go abroad. I'm not sure yet. I'm a junior, so I'm in the need to figure out my summer internship phase right now, but eventually, if I get the chance, I'd like to take it up.
I'm in the same boat. I'd love to do like a broad rotation or something in my career, anything like that, or even just to be able to like travel abroad. Like that's one question I've been asking in interviews. I'm like, so do you have clients overseas you can travel to? So just like things like that. That'd be awesome.
And a lot of U.S. programs, are now offering international rotations for internships. Like I know KPMG does an international study or international internship program during the summers, and I believe Ernst & Young is starting one up too. And especially if you have like a broad experience, then it's great because they know that you can handle yourself abroad and that you're not going to be, you know, totally freaked out by the culture shock, and especially like in a professional environment if you're just going for a bit of time. So it's really good to have that done and out of the way, and have kind of the culture shock and like knowing what to expect when you're going abroad already done when you're a student, so that when you do start working, you know, they know that you're ready for it, and they're more, you know, your employer is more willing to give you that opportunity.
And not just for working, for grad school too.
True.
Yeah,
true.
Because I think I want to go to grad school in China, so yeah, it opens your eyes. Sorry.
I'm not doing an internship, but I'm actually going to Galway in the fall. So I was wondering just what it was like and what was your favorite part about it?
You'll be a junior there?
Yeah.
You'll be living with Irish students, which we didn't. We were in American housing, but it's...
Did you stay at the university?
No, they don't have on-campus housing. I don't know if it's like that in other countries. Maybe you can speak to that, but
you'll be in like a townhouse or an apartment.
Right. Yeah, that's what I wondered.
And it's about like a 20-minute walk to campus.
Yeah, Court was like 15, 20.
Yeah. So half Villanova lives on Merchants Road, which is right off the main shop street, pedestrian street. You'll be living in Court na Corab, which is more in the
more residential area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but you're gonna love it. It's great.
People are nice.
It up.
No one wears rain boots.
Wellies.
Yeah, no one wears rain boots.
No one wears rain boots.
That's what we call them there.
Yeah. Bring like a warm raincoat though.
Okay. Layers are key.
Yeah, layers.
I have a question about internships in general. If you like don't know what you want to do, like for example, being a freshman, would you advise taking an internship anyway? Because I know Rachel, you like did a couple and realized that wasn't the thing for you. Would you still advise like looking for an internship if you don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the whole fun of it, and especially if you're not. I mean, we're in college, we're really young, like no one really knows what you want to do yet. Like if someone says that they know, like I want to do this exact like path in life, like they really have less of a clue than you. Because I mean, the more that you experience and learn about yourself, the more you realize what you want to do. And I think any opportunity that comes your way, and if you're a freshman lucky enough to have, you know, opportunities to intern, I would take them. Absolutely take anything that you can get, you know, especially with this economy. And you never know the people that you'll meet at your internship, even if it's not what you want to do, and you kind of know that going into it and you're a little reluctant about it. Like, you never know what experiences the people that you're working with have had that they can lead you to, or maybe you will end up liking it, you know? So I would say take anything that you can get. So
I think I would say the same thing. Let's say, for example, you're an engineering major. Just for example. Like, if you... I know she's an engineering major. Oh, okay. You're not? Oh, God. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But I think just you learn what you love by learning what you don't love. So if you, for example, wanted to go into chemical engineering and you're like a mechie and do something in mechanical engineering and you realize that's not what you wanted, then you'd rather do that now than realize 4 years later, oh crap, this is not it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a good forwarding process.
I feel like everyone has, like, part of them has a little bit of an inclination towards something they like a subject or something. I've worked a lot in, like, the business healthcare sector here, but that's because I have connections to that part, and, like, I'm in business, so I worked in the HR at a hospital, and that's because I had connections to that, not necessarily because I want to work in HR or healthcare per se, but you have to try it and just see, like, maybe working there, it sparked an interest to something else that I saw someone else working in a different organization of that company, or maybe I did like it and like, oh, I really do like human resources, I should look into this further. So even though you are a freshman, just just try it, see what happens.
I'd say the same thing, so just go for it. Any experience is great experience. So I know, like you said before, sometimes you learn the most from things that you don't like.
And even work in the food, be like a waitress for the summer. Who, like, it doesn't matter, just do something and
Holy
then...
grounds.
I knew you looked familiar.
Oh, did I make you the best coffee ever?
Probably.
And the other thing too that I learned when I was abroad was, you know, I used to be really reluctant to do a lot of things, and I was kind of nervous, and I said no a lot. But I just feel like the best thing that I ever learned was just don't say no. Just like do stuff, you know? Just do it, like Nike. Just go out there and, I mean, because you never know what could happen, and like even like silly things, just like, oh, do you want to go to this museum? Not really. Just go. Like, what do you have to lose, you know? And I think that's like the way that you can really open your eyes to a lot of things that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I would take internships that you can get.
Go Nova.
I have one. Okay, I did like an exchange program in high school. It wasn't like a work-related thing at all, but do you think that could be like beneficial in getting an international internship?
Where did you do it?
I lived in Germany for 3 weeks, and like I'm basically fluent in German, so like that could be helpful, right? Like
A language
is very helpful.
A language is a huge plus, especially on your resume. You'll like the people who interview. I had someone who interviewed me who started talking in French and on the phone, and I responded to them, and they were like, "Oh, you actually like it's actually on your resume. You're not like, you know." And you just never know where things will take you. Just take all your strengths and concentrate them, and good things happen always.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely help. I know for our internship program abroad, like we were placed. So, I mean, I guess having like the language experience could get you a starting company. But I mean, that'll be great. Just resume, future job. If your company asks you to go somewhere, you can go to Germany and speak the language.
So I think what I hear you say is up to a certain grade, it's given to you. But what, when you're a senior, you get to choose?
It's never, I mean, going, our specific program, it was, here it's not given to you. Here you have to work your butt off to get something unpaid.
Ours is like a package deal. Like we went abroad for the semester, and we were guaranteed an internship, essentially. Like we were guaranteed an internship, not necessarily in the exact department. Like you could recommend certain companies wanted to. I recommended a couple companies. I didn't get them. I got a different one, but I still got work experience, which is essentially the main thing.
There's just a diversity of programs that you can pick, and you're more than welcome to just go on a company website and click careers and internships, and you can do it on your own. But I think a lot of college students find it better to kind of have someone guide them through the initial steps. That's why I think these programs are beneficial for maybe underclassmen, and then when you start to get a hang of the ropes and when you have stuff on your resume, then you can go out and be more confident to, you know, look for your own internship and use those connections you made to sort of do it yourself. So yeah, it's a good tool. Smart one.
Before, someone mentioned culture shocks, just the shock of going abroad and experiencing all different kinds of people. Do any of you have any like advice or stories or anything about some of the culture shocks that you experienced and how you coped with them?
Just be open to a lot of things. If you go to Ireland, everyone loves to curse. Like, everyone loves it. Like, you're in the office and you're gonna hear every word, and every word you never knew even existed. Just like things like that. And
certain topics as well are brought up that you're like, what? Like, you're not supposed to talk about that in the workplace. But
yeah, you know, it's not, my experience just wasn't as professional, and that was a culture shock. Like, we would discuss Lady Gaga on like the daily at my job, which isn't something that normally happens here, like play our songs and stuff. So that was a culture shock.
I would say read about the place you're going to. It helps a lot sometimes, and just like the general customs, but culture shock everywhere, and just have a sense of humor. I think about, because some stuff happens and you're like, what? But people laugh about it, and then you laugh about it, and everyone laughs, and it's great.
When I went to Australia, I was at a small accounting firm, and I'm thinking, all right, accounting, like in my business casual, in my heels. I get to work, people are legit walking around barefoot. They're in business casual, but they were barefoot or had like Hobbiana flip-flops. Like my boss who owned the company wore flip-flops to work. It was hysterical. And yeah, I totally did it too. I loved it. And when I came to KPMG, I was like, oh, so we're doing casual Fridays, right? Like jeans, flip-flops. They're like, what? No. And the other thing that happened in Australia that was pretty crazy was my first week of work. It was like a Friday afternoon, and someone was leaving the office, leaving the company. So we had a going away lunch, and I'm thinking, all right, we'll go out for lunch for like an hour, like it'll be lovely. We go out to lunch. There were 10 people in the company. There were 10 bottles of wine on the table. We stayed there until 7 at night, and the people I worked with were just like falling off their chairs. And I was just like, what's going on? I was being so conservative because it was my first week. I'm like, 1 glass of wine, like slowly. And people were just out of hand. So it was just one of those things, like it's Australia. You just do what you want, you know? So New York was not like that.
Would you say America, it sounds a lot more stringent than anywhere else?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. As far as the work environment.
The work ethic in corporate, especially in corporate America, you get your work done no matter how long it takes. Here's your assignment. Have it at the end of the day. If you stay in from 7 to 1 a.m., that's fine. If you stay in from 12 to 2, that's fine. Get it done. But I think internationally it's more, all right, let's get this done together. Do you need help? What's going on? Like that was my personal experience, especially from working in South Africa and just working here. And I think it toughens you up a lot. So
the other thing we found is we went to Ireland right after the elections, and I've never been asked so many times who I voted for. They know so much about American politics, culture, economy, everything. So, like, I would suggest studying up a little more on your current events of your own country, so you don't sound so ignorant of everything. And they'd come up and they just like have all this stuff to say about Bush and how thank God he's gone, and like, did you vote for Obama, etc., etc. And like, they're not doing it to kind of like be against America. They're actually very interested, and they're very knowledgeable about a lot of world cultures. So for your sake, I would catch up on some of your own reading and what's going on here, etc.
And the other thing is, getting back to, you know, America being stricter, I really think it also depends on the city in America. Like, for example, I was in New York City this summer, which is, you know, the city that never sleeps. Like, really, they just never sleep. But I had friends interning in Baltimore and even Philly, and it was a totally different work environment. So I really feel like it's a variety of not only the company that you're working for and the industry that you're in, but also the city that you're in, whether it's abroad or in America. Like, if you want a more relaxed environment, maybe go to California, like San Francisco or something. And if you really want to, you know, be working from 7 to 2 in the morning, New York is for you. So it just depends on a lot of different factors. So not just America. I think there's just a different culture everywhere.
Any last questions? Okay, well, just to close, could you just offer any words of advice, any wisdom for people here who are considering going abroad? What you took in the end from this experience?
I think at the last session we talked about this, and the thing that we all really agreed on was the best thing that we all did was keeping a journal of what we did. So, for example, in one of my internships, I can't remember everything that I did, and it really upsets me. I can't remember all the people that I was with, and I can't remember what I did every day, and I know that there was like such funny things that happened and such great people that I'd love to get back in contact with. But in, you know, my more recent internships, I have journals like that I kept just listing, you know, what I did and who I talked to and just general thoughts. And not only did it help me, like, you know, write my resume up and edit that, it also helped me, you know, now like I can talk about what I did. And I think that was like the best thing that I did, even though it sounds kind of silly, but that is my ultimate best advice, is just keep a record of what you did, because you never know when you'll want to bring it up again. So
For me, I don't know. New things are scary. I think just our keynote speaker was perfect for like this whole conference thing because and you need to get over your initial shock like in days or hours preferably, and just get up and just ask questions. Just be there. You'd be surprised the people you meet and the connections you make and the opportunities that can come from that. And you get so much from just going to Australia rather than just reading about it, and it opens your mind so much, and I think that's reflected in the way you talk or just the things you say. So it's whenever you get the chance to travel, just go. I've been saying that all night. Just go. It's great.
I guess there's like two types of going abroad. You can go for the semester or the summer, and both are good. So just kind of figure out what you want to do. Don't be pressured into going for a semester because it's longer, it'll be better. There's benefits of both. Being abroad for me, I thought it was kind of long, being abroad for a whole semester plus 6 weeks, but that's my personal opinion. So just, if you are thinking of going abroad, I would definitely talk to kids who've already been, because they'll tell you more than what an adult at the International Studies office will tell you, and they'll give you some inside tips, and just like, they're in your boat, your shoes, like 6 months ago. So I would talk to a kid before you decide if you want to go or not.
I would say if you're even just like considering it a little bit, just apply for something, like apply for a program you're interested in, because you can't once the deadline passes, you can't apply. So you can always apply and then pull your application and not go. But if you never apply to something, you're never gonna go. So that was really circular, I'm sorry. But just like don't be afraid to like take that chance and jump out there and like go somewhere new or do something new.
And my other advice, if you're going abroad, get Let's Go. It's a travel guidebook, best thing ever, seriously. It sounds ridiculous now, but if you're going abroad, Let's Go. They have Let's Go Europe, they have Let's Go for like every country. Get it, it's awesome. It will never lead you wrong. Solid advice, I'm telling you.
Okay, so that's all the time we have. Thank you very much.